Good evening. My name is Carolyn Schoenberger, and I want to welcome you to Immigration Issues. We have a great show tonight because I'm going to be introducing to you the new Executive Director of the Chicago Legal Clinic, Adam Salzman. Thank you for coming on our show.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm so pleased to be here.
Well, we're very pleased you're here. And I'm going to talk a little bit in English and then a little bit more in Spanish about the clinic, and then we're going to talk about you and one of my favorite topics, the Chicago Legal Clinic.
Fantastic.
So, the Chicago Legal Clinic was established in 1982 by two new lawyers. There had been steel mills in the south part of Chicago, but when they closed, people lost their homes because they lost their jobs. Local businesses had to close down, and there was no low-cost legal office where people could go. So the Chicago Legal Clinic was opened by two newly licensed lawyers in 1982 in one room. Fast forward to 2017, and not only is there a bigger office in South Chicago, but an office in Pilsen, where I work, Austin, downtown, and there are several free advice desks at the Daily Center, child support, foreclosure, if you want to change your name. And there is also a free clinic for students at Harold Washington College, where I'm also on the faculty. So if you have any kind of question dealing with civil law, landlord-tenant, immigration, of course, domestic violence, real estate, foreclosure, you have any question at all, and we're going to talk more about this because Adam will talk more about this. We ask you to please call the number on the back of the screen, 773-731-1762, 773-731-1762. Please call Monday through Friday between the hours of 9 to 5. So now I will give a rendition in Spanish. So, buenas tardes, me llamo Carolina Schoenberger y yo quiero decirle un poco de la Clínica Legal de Chicago. La Clínica Legal de Chicago fue establecida en 1982 por dos nuevos abogados que querían ayudar a la gente del sur de Chicago. Antes de 1980 había muchas acerías en el sur de Chicago, pero se cerraron las acerías y la gente que trabajaba en las acerías perdieron sus trabajos. También, los negocios en el sur de Chicago sufrieron mucho por la falta de clientes. En este barrio no había ninguna oficina legal ofreciendo ayuda legal a bajo costo. Entonces, los dos abogados establecieron la Clínica Legal de Chicago en un solo cuarto. Actualmente hay 4 oficinas de la clínica en el sur de Chicago, Pilsen, Austin, y en el centro también hay varias oficinas en las cortes que ofrecen ayuda legal gratuita a la gente con problemas de mantenimiento de los niños, foreclosure, y también una oficina de Harold Washington College por los estudiantes, en donde soy profesora. Entonces, si tiene un problema legal, como inmigración, violencia doméstica, bienes raíces, seguro social para gente incapacitada o testamentos, hay de llamar el número central de la Clínica Legal de Chicago entre las horas de 9 de la mañana y las 5 de la tarde, lunes hasta viernes. Número es 773-731-1762. También en esta época de mucha incertidumbre, hay de tener cuidado con quien ofrece ayuda legal. Si tiene un problema de inmigración, por favor, consulta con abogados. Los consulados tienen talleres y hay abogados que pueden ofrecerle consejos. Por favor, ten cuidado. I just want to add that in these uncertain times, it's very important that you take care of who gives you advice. Not a notary, someone who is either a licensed attorney or someone who is certified by the Board of Immigration Appeals. And the consulates are offering many workshops. Please be careful from whom you take advice. With that, I want to again welcome Adam to Chicago Legal Clinic and also to our show on immigration issues.
Thank you so much.
So maybe you can tell us just a little bit about yourself, maybe introduce yourself, how long you've been practicing law, what areas.
Well, I am a native of Southern California originally. I'm not a native Chicagoan, but I have lived here for 12 years. I live in Oak Park, actually. And I became an attorney 12 years ago. I came to Chicago for my first job. I joined the Cook County Public Guardian's Office, where I represented foster children for several years, and then transitioned to the Adult Guardianship Division, represented disabled adults, people with diminished capacity, and handling their estates. And from there, I ended up working in Cook County government. I was chief of staff for an elected official, Cook County Commissioner, Commissioner Richard Boykin, and acquired a fair amount of government and public policy experience in that forum. And now I'm very pleased to be working with the clinic and applying some of that experience on behalf of our outstanding attorneys and staff, and helping some of those communities in Chicagoland that are most vulnerable and most in need of effective legal representation.
Thank you. You have a very distinguished history, and we look forward to your expertise not only in law but also in management. What areas do you think that you have the most substantive knowledge in? Guardianships and wills?
So I was fortunate to get a lot of hands-on guardianship experience at the Public Guardian's Office. It was actually something that I didn't expect to be able to acquire experience. I certainly didn't set out to pursue that field of practice when I was in law school. I was interested in representing children, and so that's how I ended up at the Public Guardian's Office in the first place. And I was fortunate to have that experience of representing foster children, children who are wards of the state and who have to be assumed responsibility for by the Department of Children and Family Services. I was fortunate for a couple reasons. One, because I think being able to represent children is a privilege, and it was very fulfilling work, if sometimes emotionally difficult work to do. But the other thing that was great about it is that I was in court every day. And a lot of new lawyers don't get an opportunity to be in front of a judge that frequently. So that was a phenomenal experience just on a professional front. And then it just so happened that that office also had the Adult Guardianship Division. So after a few years of acquiring experience in child protection court, I was offered the opportunity to go to the Disabled Adults Division and acquired this whole new area of expertise just by virtue of having lucked into that transfer. And that was really interesting work to do. The Guardianship Division of the Cook County Circuit Court has some really fine judges, and the types of attorneys who practice that law tend to be very caring and have very high standards of professionalism. So it was really something that I didn't expect to acquire expertise in, but I'm glad that I had that opportunity.
It's interesting because guardianships now are a big topic among immigration lawyers, because as we prepare to deal with whatever happens for the deferred action of childhood arrivals and threatened mass deportations, people are signing short-term guardianships that are frequently prepared by non-lawyers, et cetera. So that's a very hot topic right now, guardianships, and I really look forward to your expertise and how we should proceed, because that is critical. What are some of the substantive priorities for the clinic? I know it's early in your tenure, but if you can just highlight a few of them.
Yeah.
I hope immigration's one of them.
Well, immigration certainly is one of them, and as I think you were just alluding to, I mean, this is an extraordinary time, and not extraordinary in a good way. I think in these particularly uncertain times, it's important for the clinic to do a couple things. One, I think it's important to position the clinic as a strong voice on behalf of those populations that are vulnerable, and immigrants are chief among them right now, unfortunately. So we need to be in the community, and we need to be speaking up like our sister organizations are on behalf of justice and on behalf of what is right, and in opposition to targeting families that I think are being quite unfairly singled out. So that's as a matter of advocacy and the clinic's public profile. And then, as you also alluded to, in terms of our immigration practice, I think, and this is something that you are a leader in, Carolyn, and it's something that I'm very proud to be able to be associated with. It is to have an immigration program that adheres to the highest standards of professionalism and provides the highest quality of advice and guidance to people who right now are, in many cases, in a state of panic. And that often opens the door to people who have less than stellar credentials and not exactly the highest standards of professionalism when it comes to the services they offer. But I am so proud to say that the clinic does have the highest standards, and that is in large part due to you.
Well, thank you. There are people who have helped me, and I'm very grateful. We also have a program that deals with ex-offenders, and the reason I bring this up is there's a real tie-in to immigration. Definitely people want to clean their records, expunge, they want to seal records. En español decimos limpiar. I can know how to say that in Spanish. Clean your records. But if you're going to be applying to become a lawful permanent resident, deferred action for childhood arrivals, and we don't recommend new applicants right now, citizenship, immigration is going to want to see your record. In fact, they're going to see it anyway, but they want you to bring certified copies. And if you have sealed your record or had them expunged without getting copies, we have to go into court, and we're doing this quite often now, to unseal a record, get the original record, certify it, and then seal the records again, which takes time. Unfortunately, it takes time. So, but we do have an active sealing records program. Maybe we could talk a little bit about this because we want people to take advantage of it.
That's right. We call it our Blank Slate Records program. And it's something that is unique, and it's a service that we try to encourage people from a variety of different backgrounds to take advantage of. One of the main components of it is what we call the live expungement and sealing call. That takes place every Thursday at 26th in California. That's the Cook County Criminal Courthouse. The presiding judge on every Thursday will hear petitions to seal and or expunge your criminal records, and the state's attorney has the discretion to object to petitions to seal those records. What we provide for people who find themselves on the receiving end of an objection, often unexpectedly, is the opportunity to consult with an attorney. Our attorneys are on site every Thursday, and to formulate a defense. And so that's something that the clinic does that is unique. We also have an extended representation, sealing, and expungement service that we provide, a practice program that was started several years ago, and we can provide extended representation for those cases that are a little bit more nuanced and require advice that is a little bit more complicated, and representation on matters that require a little bit more legwork.
So again, as a commercial, 773-731-1762 between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And if you have a question, whether it's on immigration or the Clean Slate Expungement Criminal Record Sealing Program, please call the number on the screen, 312-738-1060, 312-738-1060. In addition to these great programs, we also have other programs. There's an environmental program that has been very active over the last couple of years, and a Social Security disability program. we've had a lot of success in that. Is there another program perhaps we can talk about? Maybe the program dealing in the municipal courts?
That's right. Well, we have a municipal advice desk. One of the things that the clinic has done very successfully over the years is provide free advice to people who represent themselves in Cook County Circuit Court pro se. When you're representing yourself pro se, it means you are representing yourself. You're not utilizing a lawyer. But that doesn't mean that you might not have need for legal advice. And so what we do and what we have provided both at the Daly Center and also in the Markham Courthouse and in Bridgeview South Suburban Courthouse, what we provide are help desks for people who are in that kind of situation. They can approach the help desk, they can receive advice, they can even receive help in preparing documents. So our municipal advice desk is one of those programs, frequently helping out with landlord, tenant, and collection type matters. We also have a parentage and child support advice desk that can assist people who may be dealing with a child support related matter. And we have what's called the Chancery advice desk, which typically will assist people who find themselves dealing with a foreclosure or other items that come under the Chancery division of the Circuit Court include, as I think Carolyn alluded to earlier, name changes, administrative appeals, things like that. So it's another thing that we're very proud to be able to provide to people who find themselves in a situation where they may not have the means to employ an attorney to represent them, but nevertheless need to seek out some legal advice.
So how would someone go to take advantage of these advice desks?
Sure.
How do they do?
So, in the Daly Center, for example, the Chancery Advice Desk and the Parentage Advice Desk are both located on the concourse level, and you can always ask somebody to direct you there. Same with Markham and Bridgeview. Typically, you'll be able to check in with somebody in the main area in the lobby of the courthouse, and they'll be able to direct you there. And once you're there, folks you typically just need to know what the matter is related to. They can look up your case. They can tell you what phase your case is in. Sometimes people need to have some of that legal jargon deciphered, and our attorneys are more than qualified to do that.
One thing that I've noticed, again, in dealing with people is sometimes when they go consult with lawyers, they don't bring papers with them. Mm-hmm. So we advise anyone, whether you're going to the advice desk in the Daly Center, 26th Street, Markham, Harold Washington College, please bring your papers with you. So it's even immigration cases, sometimes people forget to bring a very important letter. So again, that's critically important.
Very true.
So we have many people at the clinic, about 50 employees, speaking different languages. What languages can we offer?
Well, certainly English and Spanish, and some others as well. I'm told that we've got Italian speakers, and we also have a French speaker, at least one that I know of in particular. We've got somebody working with us presently who speaks Portuguese as well. So we are multilingual and certainly well equipped to serve the communities where we're located.
That's fabulous. And again, if we can just go over where the different offices are.
Sure. So we have an office in Pilsen. We also have one in Austin. I'm very proud, actually, that the clinic is the only legal services provider in the Austin neighborhood, the only legal service provider of low-cost legal services in the Austin neighborhood. South Chicago, which is where the clinic started, over on 91st Street. In fact, the clinic was originally known as the South Chicago Legal Clinic. And we also have an office in the Loop, our downtown office at 211 West Wacker. So we've got 4 offices in addition to the courthouses that we're located in, which is the Daly Center and also in Markham and Bridgeview. We don't have an office at 26th in California. We just visit there every Thursday to help conduct the live expungement and sealing call.
So if you want to, again, go to any of the offices if you have a problem, you want to do a closing and you want someone who is going to make sure that it's done correctly, you've been denied Social Security benefits, immigration, domestic violence, the place to start is 773-731-1762 between the hours of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. And there are workshops that are coming up on immigration that several of the consulates are sponsoring, as well as some of the churches that are going on. In addition to providing legal services, we also have a very active seminar program. Perhaps you can just talk a little bit about going out into the community.
Well, I mean, this is something where we're particularly distinguished, and again, you're a leader in this in the immigration area. But we've got a number of relationships in the community where we go and provide information for people who are interested and or concerned about immigration matters. Certainly in the Pilsen community, and then we have a number of groups that the clinic is worked in partnership with to provide educational seminars and information on that as well. We also do seminars in the Daly Center on family law for people who are dealing with a dissolution of marriage or a parentage or custody matter. And we've had an opportunity as well recently to do some estate planning work, some estate planning educational events in the Hyde Park neighborhood, actually in affiliation with the University of Chicago. So that's an area where we're looking to expand our services as well. If you're looking to have a will prepared, or you need to prepare some healthcare directions for your family members, the clinic will be doing a lot of work in that area as well.
That is so much what we're telling people in preparation for what we don't know is going to happen with immigration, that they need to have a will, they need to have some direction for their children. Can they sell the house? I used to prosecute people who abused these things, right. And now I'm telling people they need them. So since we only have a few minutes more, can you just sum up, in addition to immigration, where do you think we're headed? As a country, legally, Illinois, what areas of law should people be concerned about and seek advice on? And I think wills is a very good way of starting. But.
Definitely, and I think that economic justice continues to be a core concern, and I think these are the battles that we're going to be fighting going forward. So I think the work that we're doing right now in foreclosure defense, even though the foreclosure crisis of several years ago has passed, I think for low-income people, it never gets easier, and in fact, in this current climate, it gets harder. And people have disproportionately low access to justice, and that's what we are about correcting. That's what the mission of our organization is. So foreclosure defense, collections defense, although really anything that we provide for people who are low income is about rebalancing scales and increasing access to justice for low income communities.
It's interesting because at the college clinic at Harold Washington College, there were a number of people who parents had died, there was no will, and they assumed they could keep paying the mortgage, and suddenly they were in foreclosure. So it's amazing how there's an intersection between this.
It's true. I mean, these are all part and parcel of the same struggle that people deal with when they don't have the means to employ the kind of representation that people of means do have.
So again, if you have a question, if you want to request a speaker, if you have an organization and want someone to come and talk after Mass or to come and talk to a classroom, to please call 773-731-1762. So again, I want to thank you so much for coming on the show and being so kind.
It was my pleasure. Thank you for everything you do.
Well, thank you, and look forward to having you again on
anytime.
Immigration issues.
Anytime.
And I hope that you will watch the show that will be in September 16th. Please watch the show. It's the third Wednesday. I hope they got the date right. At 6:30 on immigration issues. We will look forward to seeing you Please, if you have questions, call us. Thank you very much.
Thank you.